You can see she's quite concerned about this. I don't like to approach a horse like this.
The question is, how does your horse communicate with you? But more importantly, how do you communicate most effectively with your horse? The answer I have to offer is going to strengthen the foundation of the relationship with you and your horse. After years of research, years of working with horses, after having started hundreds of colts, after helping hundreds of horse owners communicate better with their horse, I have condensed it to my easy-to-understand process at barjalhorsetraining.com.
If you guys have seen my pulling back video, we're using a similar strategy here. So if she pulled back on this right now, it's just wrapped around the panels a few times. It has some drag to it, so she can move her feet. We don't want her hanging back while we're trying to saddle her here. You can see she's quite concerned about this. I don't like to approach a horse like this because there's this scary new object and me, and this is between me and them. And so I prefer to, it's not that I'm hiding it, but she's already comfortable with me. So I'll come right here, and I like to have my saddle or the saddle pad on this side of me, and then I'll bring it and toss it on and off. I find these colts don't get near as worked up, whereas if I was to approach her like this, you see she's a lot more worried about it. So yeah, when I approach a colt with a saddle or a saddle pad, just like that, and you see she was so much more quiet about it. And same idea as all our other desensitizing. On, off, until she relaxes or just holds still for a little while. She's not super worried about it. You can see her tucking her butt there. She's a little concerned. So she's showing me she's not very comfortable. You just look at how she's holding that hind leg. She's ready for action. So lots of this kind of work is going to help her. I like to get the hard part out of the way with the saddle blanket because it's a lot lighter than the saddle is. Same idea. She's comfortable with me, so I'll make the first thing that approaches her. Oh man. It's a different situation. She's a little worked up. So we'll go back to that saddle pad. Now typically I use my saddle that I ride in, and it has saddle strings. And a little trick, because sometimes they'll scoot quick and your saddle might tip off. I'll have my saddle strings hanging here, and I'll hold them as I walk around. So when she kind of scoots over, and I'll just hold this the same way. If she scoots over, then I still have a hold of my saddle and it's not going to dump off that side. But she's doing pretty good. So when I bend down to put my cinch on, I actually don't like to bend down that way because if if heaven forbid they were gonna kick, you'd get a face full of hoof. So I like to face my butt this way and bend down this way if they kick. It's still not ideal, but at least they'll only get your leg. And I come in, rubbing, lots of moving, work my way over and grab that cinch. When I first cinch them up, I try not to cut them in half. I just get it nice and snug. And then do up all my other stuff, my back cinch, my breast collar, whatever it might be, just to get it out of the way, because if she did buck or something and there's stuff hanging there, there's more stuff for her to get caught up in. But if it's all done up, then that's out of the way and not gonna potentially be as much of a wreck. And then after I get the other stuff done up, I'll come back in and snug up this cinch a little bit. And that's not too bad. I find the best way to first saddle these animals is just to saddle them up, leave them tied up, and let them move themselves. Because it'll be a lot less of a scary situation than if there's this new thing clonking on them and you're asking them to move all over the place. And so they're very relaxed. There's other horses tied up right here. So I'm gonna come back to the fence here, undo all those wraps I did, and just tie her up now. And that's the first saddling. Thanks guys for tuning in to another session with Dolly. We look forward to where she's going. Take care.